Okay, let's get back to business. Talk to the blasphemy hunter and keep going. Laying the past to rest. Arenvald wishes to put your considerable reputation to good use. There you are, Beryllian. Commander Aldine has asked me to convey you to the following information. At present, we are looking into reports of missing relatives of Crania Lupi. With the cooperation of the Silver Griffins, we're currently searching for any clues as to their whereabouts. Thanks to the concerted efforts of Ragnfrid and the others, the general public have been willing to cooperate with our investigation, though many still harbor feelings of distrust for the collaborators and their kin. They've grown more receptive to our cause on the whole. Arenvald's been making steady progress in preparing for the memorial ceremony. He plans to host a meeting between the various community leaders to go over the finer details. In fact, he was wondering whether you could assist in delivering the invitations. If you can spare the time, you should be able to find him in the Mercantile District. Anyway, that's all for now. I have a few more matters to attend to, so if you'll excuse me, duty calls. Alright, let's head on over to wherever the Mercantile District is. So right by the Aether 8. Slip on through here. And Arenvald should be right over here. Thanks for coming. It should come as no surprise that planning a memorial ceremony for a whole bloody nation would keep a man busy. But by Ralgar, this is something else. The hardest part's been gathering the information on those who died in the war, especially when it comes to the skulls and and other conscripts, and they're the ones we need to treat most carefully. If we don't acknowledge the crimes of our kin in all their painful truth, then we do a disservice to their victims, living and dead. If we let people paint them as monsters who did monstrous things we believe we would never do, then we perpetuate a different but no less dangerous lie. As for preparing the event itself, I'll be holding a meeting with members from each of the settlements around Girabania. I've sent invitations to most of them already, but I was hoping you'd help me with the last two. The Miraz Noon in the Peering Stones and Sarissa in Nilia. I'll give you one for each. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they refused, considering how their people suffered at the hands of the skulls. But I hope we can remind them that deep down, we're all just people trying to survive to protect our loved ones. We may have driven the Empire from our lands, but as long as we hold fast to the grudges born of their attempts to divide and set us against one another, we'll never be free of their legacy of cruelty. With that in mind, I've included an account of my experiences with the Silver Griffins and people I've met, victims, collaborators, their friends and their family, men and women who lived through it all, survivors. Even if they refused to join the ceremony, at least they will know, and hopefully understand, our reasons to hold the event. Granted, I've not had much practice in writing important letters, but I think they'll get the message. You being the one to deliver them will make a world of difference, I'm sure. Take care, won't you? That bun girl, who looked very similar to me, I think she noticed too. It was really distracting. Okay, Arenvald. If Miraz Noon and Sarisha end up refusing the invitation, it'll be no fault of yours, and at the very least, you'll have a chance to hear their thoughts on the matter. True. So, where are we going? Yeah, probably the locks. No, wait, we're in the locks. Where the heck am I going? Okay, oh, right. Peering Stones. And the Fringes, okay. That's right, this is the G tribe. Right? Or is this the M tribe? I think it's the M tribe, because this, yeah, this is the M tribe because this is where Manago's from. Oh, right, he's the leader. Greetings, friend. It has been too long since we last spoke. What brings you to my village? I have an invitation. So the rumors are true. I need not read the letter to know in full to know its contents. I understand that Ragnfrid's volunteers are working to support the families of those lost in the war, which few will deny it's a worthy cause, but to include the relatives of the Crania Lupi. The skulls watched the Empire slay us in our thousands, and still they turned their cloaks and fought for our oppressors. And you would ask us to mourn the deaths of these curs along with their victims? I ask only that you read the rest of the letter. You have every right to be angry and refuse. Arenvald's wishes are only that you read his accounts before coming to decisions. Let's do that. To dismiss it out of hand would be discourteous. Very well. Family. As Newton, my tribe is my family, quite literally actually. And I know all too well the responsibility that it brings. I would do anything to protect them. Anything. Loyalty, pride, conscience, my very soul. All are meaningless if I cannot ensure the safety of those I love. I suspected some skulls had been faced with the self-same choice, but to think how their kin suffered, I cannot say I do not understand, though I wish that I did not. Their crimes will never be forgiven. They cannot be. But I and any others who are willing can offer our prayers for those tortured souls and the men they could have been. I accept the invitation, not on behalf of the M tribe, but as Miraz knew, though I will put the question to my people that they may decide for themselves. I am also eager to make the acquaintance of the person that wrote this letter. He is not wont to turn a blind eye to the bitter truth, painful though it is to confront. The meeting will be a perfect opportunity to take his measure. With all the recent troubles, the towns and villagers were once thought safe are fraught with danger. Please, keep your senses keen wherever you go. I will convey your friend's intent to the rest of the tribe before attending the memorial ceremony. Those who cannot support it will not interfere. You have my word. All right, let's go check on the other group. Oh, is this the Anata? Let's see, this is gonna be the leader of the peaceful Ananta tribe? Yeah, that's right. Welcome. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit? This is as I suspected. There have been rumors that such a ceremony would take place. Although you have traveled far to make this invitation, I must decline. We cannot mourn the loss of the fallen if Crania Lupi are to be counted among them. Like the Kaliana, they chose to aid the Garlean oppressors, killing and bleeding for those who would pillage our land. Cowards and traitors all. And are we to assume that the Kalyana who died fighting the Empire will be honored as well? If so, that is all the more reason for us to refuse. That is your right, and no one will say otherwise. I come only to present a letter and ask that you read it in full. Arenvald understands and accepts that you might refuse. His only request that you read his account and decide. if you insist. Dot, dot, dot. No one was spared suffering on the occasion. Not the resistance, not the collaborators, not the families of both. No one. That so many would die in shame and ignominy, having sold their souls only to lose everything, is a tragedy and a lesson. If they are forgotten, then the lesson of their folly is forgotten. For the sake of this land we call home, I will join you in remembrance and implore my people to do the same. In mourning, may we strengthen our ties with our neighbors as well. By together facing our past, we can build a foundation for lasting peace and prosperity. It would be an honor to attend the proposed meeting, and I look forward to personally thanking your friend Arenvald for his dedication. I and my peers have much to learn from the example he has set. That's cool. He seems to be doing pretty good. Would I be correct in guessing your friend does not often scribe such letters? I could not help but notice he had forgone the usual platitudes and fanciful phrasing. His directness was most refreshing. Well, that's pretty funny. Alright, we gotta head back to Arenvald. Yep. Let's head on back over to Alamegan Quarter. Alright, he should be over here. Yes, there he is. Not like he could have gone far. Actually, he's got that speedy wheelchair, so you never know how far he's gonna be. So, how did you fare in the fringes? Well, they actually agreed. Kind of amazing, to be honest. They said that about me. It's rare for me to get such glowing praise, especially from the renowned leaders, like Sarissa and Miraz Noon. More importantly, though, they agreed to attend the meeting, and I've got you to thank for that. After all, I imagine it's hard to turn down an invitation when it's hand-delivered by the Warrior of Light herself. Before I get ahead of myself, though, I must remember that this is only the beginning. Bringing everyone together is one thing. Coming to an agreement on an extremely divisive issue is a different kettle of fish entirely, as Your Grace was quick to point out. But as she's taught me, if our cause is just and our hearts are true, those of like mind will surely answer the call. And answer it they have. While they are bound to be different of opinions, I'm sure that there's nothing we can't overcome if we put our minds to it. To that end, I was hoping you could join us. If you've the time to spare, there are still a few loose ends Ragnfrid and I need to tie up beforehand, so we'll meet you in the palace as soon as we can. Just having you there will make a world of a difference. Okay, let's head on over to the palace, and then I guess there's gonna be a cutscene. Let's see. Yep, let's head on into the palace. This guy's still just slightly ahead of me. Here for the meeting, yes? Yep, let's enter the royal palace. So, well, we all agree on the importance of the ceremony. We recognize that the inclusion of the Crania Lupi will be distressing for many. I too lost family at their hands, and I would never ask others to forgive and forget. But for all their crimes, they were Alamegans, just like us. None made the decision to side with Garlemald lightly. They had a choice, and they chose to betray us. Who among us had not made difficult choices for kith and kin? And do not forget that Fordola chose to stand between us and a primal. What does that have to do with it? brothers and sisters, arguing will avail us not. The fate of Alamigo rests on my shoulders and yours, on those of every man, woman, and child that calls these lands home. To uphold your honor, to strive for prosperity, to protect our loved ones, we all know the weight of these responsibilities. 'Twas the selfsame weight which drove many of our people to serve our oppressors, misguided as it was. And though they chose a different, unsociable path, in the end, we all wanted the same thing, to deliver our families from persecution, that they might live to see one more day, because another day in shame and self-hatred was still better than none at all. The regretful dead are survived by their despair, a despair which threatens to drag us all into an abyss from where there is no escape. Know that it surely will if we welcome it into our hearts, out of disdain for those we cannot forgive. But we Alamegans will not be so easily defeated. We will stand united and conquer this menace. Every Alamegan who fought and died did so in hopes that one day we could be free. And we are free. We are free. By the blood of our fallen brothers and sisters, we are free. Free to lock away the pain and pretend it has no power over us, until it festers and takes us in our beds, and free to lay it bare and let it breathe. To acknowledge and to mourn our people at their best and their worst. The past is ours to bear, all of it, for ourselves and for future generations, so that they needn't suffer like we did. Let us make Alamigo a nation where no man is left behind, where he can make all the wrong choices and still be afforded the chance to make a right one. That was a pretty good speech. Alright, that was pretty cool. That went better than any of us could have hoped for. You have my gratitude for your part in the proceedings, but we both know who the real hero of the day was. What are you talking about, Rabon? It's me, obviously. Unless you're talking about Eos over here. This was all Arenvald's idea, and it was his words that finally won over the naysayers. Now that we have the community leaders on our side, we should have a much easier time convincing the rest of the citizenry. Of course, holding the ceremony is by no means our final objective. No matter what we say, some will refuse to attend. It is my hope, however, that it will still serve to provide a measure of closure for us all, and to ease the plight of the vulnerable and ostracized. Speaking of which, do you recall the incident with Fordola in Alagana? The young girl she saved and her mother wished to thank her personally. Considering that what happened last time, though, I have reservations. It would be a valuable opportunity to prevent a former skull in a more positive light. On the other hand, I don't need to tell you how unpredictable she can be. And that's before taking her echo into consideration. But that's a conversation for another day. Go and get some rest. You've earned it. You bet I've earned it.